Hello, this is Carl Pereira, again here with you from more-selfesteem.com. I hope wherever you are, you're having a happy and pleasant time and that you're healthy and feeling good. If, however, you're not too happy in these days, then that's not a big problem because you're with me and you're watching these videos. That's the purpose of my videos, and if I can just make you a little bit happier with what I've got to say today, a little bit more content with life, I'll be really happy because I'll have fulfilled my aim. Okay, so let's get on with today's topic, and today's topic is really forgiving yourself. This will provide you motivation, but how I'm going to cover such things like how do you forgive yourself? How can you forgive yourself? And what this will mean to you in your life if you do so. I just want to start by talking about your inner judge. You may have heard of this phrase before, and I've certainly experienced it in my life, that criticism from others is one thing, but criticism that we aim at ourselves is much worse and much harsher. In fact, I've heard it say, or did I read it somewhere, I can't remember, but in any case, someone once famously said that the harshest judge is our own selves, and I really believe that to be true. And if that's true for you, let's change that as quickly as possible, because that's really running against your self-esteem. It's running against the wishes and desires that you have, your goals in life. It's running and it's discouraging you all the time. I mean, it's horrible. If you treat yourself like that, how can you experience self-love, self-confidence, and all the rest of it? So let's talk about the inner judge. Well, personally speaking, and I can only speak from my experience, I have a voice in my head, which as far as possible, I, in recent years, have really tried to make a positive voice, an encouraging voice. And, this is what you need to do. If you're stuck every time you face a difficult challenge, or have to do something new, and you're slightly worried about that, then this is where your inner judge will often come through with harsh words, critical words, and it's most off-putting. So if you're not going to encourage yourself, and if you have to listen to this kind of negative self-talk all the time, discouraging you, then it's going to be very difficult for you to firstly like yourself, let alone love yourself, improve your self-esteem, confidence. All of that is going to be beyond you. So this must be addressed as soon as possible. So think about this. Before we go any further, please think about this. Do you have an inner judge, and what kind of things do you say to yourself, especially in moments when things get tough, when maybe you're having difficulties, facing new challenges, or imagining that you're failing with something or results are disappointing? What kind of things are you saying to yourself? Is that inner judge really critical? And if it is, then please take steps to change it. And you can immediately by correcting that negative self-talk and giving yourself, some kind of morale booster. Okay, let's move on now to, the actual business of forgiving yourself. Really and truly, how do you forgive other people? Because if you're not able to forgive other people, chances are you're really not in a position to be able to forgive yourself. So the two things go together. I would say, first of all, you need to learn to forgive yourself. And this will also help you to forgive others, which is also very necessary in our daily lives and in our search for happiness. One thing you need to do is give yourself the benefit of doubt. Listen, we all make mistakes. You will make mistakes. There's no way to avoid them. So you should deal with them and frame things differently in your mind. It really is a form of self-care to be kinder to yourself. And if you're not going to be kind to yourself, then who is? Really, you need to kind of support yourself before you go to anybody else, before you chat with friends, anything like that. Make sure that you're supporting yourself, encouraging yourself, because that's what real self-care is. So go and really think about this after you watch this video, of course. Don't leave my video, of course. Please stay with me, watch to the end, and later I want you really to think about this. How are you hurting yourself with your self-talk? That's not self-care. Okay, let's get into the business now of changing this frame of mind, changing your mindset so that you can begin to forgive yourself more often. The first thing I want to say is, no matter what it is, what situation you're in, maybe you've got problems in your life and you blame yourself for what's happened between you and another person, for what's happened in your life, for how successful you feel, for your job, for your personal life, for your communications, whatever it is, for your academic success and promotions, whatever in your life you're not happy about. Okay, we all make mistakes. Mistakes are normal. Accept that mistakes are normal. We actually learn from mistakes. When you learn stuff, and bear in mind that life is a constant learning curve and there are constantly new things to do. If you want to go someplace, if you want to improve yourself, if you want to achieve goals, you will have to challenge yourself, and by challenging yourself you will make mistakes. It's not your fault. That's basically the message that I want to tell you today. Okay, you may have made mistakes. Okay, maybe you made the wrong decision. Maybe you did something you're not proud of. But in most cases, you can correct those things. You can change. And in most cases, the small mistakes that you make are really not your fault. And there may be other things which happen. Let's say you have a problem between you and another person, relationship and communication issues. Now, it's not only your fault, surely. There are always at least two sides to a relationship, and there are many, many factors which can influence relationships. Whatever the fact of the matter is, yes, accept your responsibility, and if you've done something wrong, but realize that it's not all your fault. Forgive yourself and pick yourself up and try to fix things. Mistakes are normal, as we said, and you must make them to learn. There's the famous saying, isn't there, from Edison, Thomas Edison, who discovered the light bulb. He said when he was trying to develop the light bulb and he was endlessly failing to do it, somebody asked him, why don't you just give up? How many times you've tried and failed? Maybe it just won't work. And he said, well, look, yes, I've tried hundreds of times, and I've failed each time, but they're not failures. I've just discovered 100 different ways that won't work, which means I'm getting closer to finding the way that will work. And that's the kind of attitude you need with mistakes. In another video, I'll cover mistakes in more depth. But today, I want you to focus. Mistakes, errors, incorrect decisions. Please go and watch, by the way, the previous video that I did all about making good decisions. I'll put the link in the description as well. That'll be helpful here. So sometimes you do make the wrong decision. Sometimes you do make mistakes. But you need a different attitude. Like Thomas Edison, for example, you need an attitude towards failure. In fact, I wouldn't even use the word failure. What is failure? Failure is actually destroying any future and actually, you know, not being able to continue, chances are most of the things which you think of as being failure are just minor setbacks. And minor setbacks are a kind of feedback and are a kind of learning tool if you think about them in the right way. So just because you have a setback, just because you have a disappointing result, things don't go well for you, you know, in the pursuit of your goals, whatever it is you're trying to achieve in life. Don't give up, because it's just a setback and you can recover and you can learn from that setback and you can change what you're doing. The worst thing to do is to give up, because then you don't know if ultimately you could have been a success. There's been many, many times in my life, for example, when I took a long time to see any results from my work, from what I was doing, but I just kept going. And eventually, you know, what I found was, just at the point where I was thinking of giving up, I would get the slightest glimmer of hope, and that would carry me through. And in the end, I hope that sitting here making these videos, all the work that I've done to help people with self-esteem, depression and so on, I hope that I can think of myself as a success. So think of yourself as a work in progress at least, and on your way to success, if not already a success. But never think of yourself as a failure. That's your inner judge talking. So please, my message to you today on this video is learn to forgive yourself. You can. You're not at fault. You're not to blame. And even if you've made an error in judgment, in your decisions, in your actions, you can correct them, you can change, and you can ultimately reach success. But you will never reach success. You will never reach a good level of self-esteem and confidence, which you will need to achieve your goals. You will never reach that unless you begin with the first and most important element of self-care that you could possibly gift yourself, which is to forgive yourself, to be kind to yourself. And that will lead to you being able to enjoy life, to be able to achieve more, to be able to forgive others more, and hopefully to be able to commit yourself to achieving your goals and stay the course, not give up. And I wish you every success with that. I'm going to sign off from this video now. Please go watch some of my other videos. As I've said, I'll drop a link or two in there. Please be sure, before you leave this channel, before you leave this video, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. I'm really trying to push now for 200 subscribers. It doesn't sound like much, but that's my immediate goal, and I'm not giving up on it. And I'm encouraging myself to keep going, and I'm encouraging you, please don't give up on your dreams. Go achieve them, and good luck. See you in the next video.